We cannot allow this dangerous disease to make a comeback here in New York City. We have to stop it now. Today, we are declaring a public health emergency effective immediately. This will mandate vaccines for people living in the affected area. Department of Health will issue violations and fines to people who remain unvaccinated. This outbreak has been spreading. There are almost 300 cases already, overwhelmingly in Brooklyn. And to give you a sense of what a troubling development this is, it's a huge spike. We saw only 2 cases in New York City in 2017. So we have a very serious situation on our hands. The only way to stop this outbreak is to ensure that those who have not been vaccinated get the vaccine.
Tonight, a public health emergency in New York City after that rapid spike in cases of the measles.
We have a situation now where children are in danger.
Officials mandating vaccines and issuing fines up to $1,000 for anyone who doesn't comply. Drastic measures to curb a dangerous virus now surging.
We've worked closely with the community, religious leaders, and schools to make sure that vulnerable people are kept safe during this outbreak and to challenge the dangerous misinformation that is being spread by a group of anti-vaxxers.
The resurgence of measles has become a growing concern in Canada and the United States. Hundreds of cases have been reported across New York and British Columbia in recent months. New York City is taking action today after seeing one of the largest outbreaks of measles in decades. Today, officials there declared a public health emergency and ordered that vaccinations be mandatory for certain communities. Here to explain is our Megan Batchelor. Megan.
Well, Carol, this is a drastic move for what officials are calling a drastic situation. 300 cases of measles in New York City, and they're hoping that this drastic move will perhaps stop the spread of this highly contagious virus. So here's a look at the area that's affected. It's in Williamsburg, which is outside of Brooklyn. There are 4 zip codes that are affected, and so those living in those zip codes must get the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine. The outbreak has mainly been confined to the Orthodox Jewish community there, and anyone found to have not received the vaccine will be fined $1,000 US. The mayor and the health commissioner in New York City declared this emergency today and made this announcement saying that this is the worst outbreak there since 1991.
There are almost 300 cases already, overwhelmingly in Brooklyn. And to give you a sense of what a troubling development this is, it's a huge spike. We saw only 2 cases in New York City in 2017. So we have a very serious situation on our hands.
And to show just how serious that situation, here's a closer look at those numbers. There are currently 228 cases of the measles in Williamsburg itself, 300 in New York General, and 465 cases in the United States as a part of the outbreak.
This Orthodox Jewish section of Williamsburg, Brooklyn, is ground zero, where some 250 measles cases have been confirmed within the last 9 months. The order requires residents older than 6 months who live or go to school in the affected area to get vaccinated or risk a $1,000 fine. And community religious schools known as yeshivas must bar unvaccinated children or face shutdown.
The city blames this school for letting unvaccinated children into the classroom, resulting in more than 40 cases of measles. Today's emergency declaration also means that disagreement over the outbreak in this tight-knit community is spreading too.
I believe God has created all human perfectly.
This woman has 5 children. None were vaccinated and all had measles in the last month.
I cannot agree to a systematic way of just altering the immune system and testifying to God's imperfection.
But this father believes all children should be vaccinated.
You got to trust the doctors. You got to trust the health department.
It's been reported that one man with measles traveled from Brooklyn to Michigan, which has since recorded 41 cases statewide. In fact, nationwide, there have been 78 new cases in the last week alone.
This is the epicenter of the measles outbreak. According to the city, there are close to 300 measles cases so far, and a majority of them are children. The de Blasio administration is worried because the Jewish Passover holiday is around the corner, and that's when families travel and gather. They're worried about the measles spreading. So now, as Williamsburg residents are told to get vaccinated, there are still some who are refusing to do so.
How can you take away my right?
First of all, it has nothing to do with Yiddishkeit.
It does.
It does not.
This heated debate right outside of Mayor Bill de Blasio's public health emergency declaration. These women say they will not vaccinate their children.
This is my personal religious belief. Actually, I have my rabbi back and get.
Children are in danger. We have to take this seriously.
The city says the measles outbreak is centered in Williamsburg's ultra-Orthodox community. There are 285 documented cases in New York City. And now the mayor says unvaccinated residents could be fined $1,000. And yeshivas that allow unvaccinated students to attend will be shut down.
This vaccine is safe. This vaccine not only protects your child, but as you heard from the mayor, it protects other people's children.
Joseph Deutsch, CEO of the ODA Healthcare Network, says some parents still believe vaccines are dangerous.
We get calls each and every day about that, and across the level, from the doctors, nurses, administration, we try to explain to them that there's definitely no harm, and the benefit is definitely outweighing.
We are still seeing the number of cases rise.
Of the 285 cases in New York City, 246 are in children.
And nearly all of them have been associated with the Orthodox Jewish community.
3 weeks ago, the United Jewish Organizations of Williamsburg and Northern Brooklyn posted photos of yeshiva leaders meeting with the city's health commissioner. Rabbi David Niederman is the president and says schools will obey the mayor's orders.
You are required by Jewish law to take every preventive measure that you yourself to guard your health, and especially when that can affect others.
But he says in the Williamsburg community of roughly 100,000 Jews, there's around 100 families against the vaccine. This mother admits her children had measles and says they're fine.
Preventative measures are not a reason to inject toxins into my child's body.
New York State, it's only going to spread unless we fix the problems in the system. And the problems are we have way too lax of a requirement.
New York City ordered yeshivas to ban unvaccinated students in December, but says one in Williamsburg did not comply and has since been linked to more than 40 cases.
Oversight from one of the administrators who thought that the breakout has stopped. But by now, I've spoken to many administrators. Most of them are, all of them are very strict about the orders.
So will this plan be more effective?
Right now, we're going to have inspectors out. We have clear penalties, clear sanctions.
The city is working with local religious leaders to get the message out about vaccines. They're even checking yeshiva records, their immunization records, to see if students are complying. And you may wonder, how do you enforce this? Well, according to the de Blasio administration, once a person is diagnosed with measles, they'll almost act as medical detectives, talking to every single person they've come in contact with. Then, if those people have not been diagnosed and are refused to get vaccinated, that's when they'll be fined that $1,000.
Now, as far as enforcement goes, health authorities in New York will be in contact with those who have been in contact with people who have contracted measles and will be asking for their immunization records. If they have been found to have not had that vaccine, they will get that $1,000 fine.
Right, and the concern here is not only for the individual children, but also for the community at large, herd immunity.